Alright, because you guys requested this, I'm doing a heavy squat session, but I'm doing it in my cage. So I've got my monolift out. Just getting used to it, to be honest with you. I'm up to 180 plus a chain. So the idea today is, again, working up to a decently heavy squats. I'm sticking with box squats at the moment. That's my goal, is decent weight on box squat. But using a monolift is strange to me now because I've spent so long walking everything out. I'm just kind of reconditioning my body. Because the great thing about the monolift is you just plant your feet and you squat pretty much on the spot. You have to step forward a tiny bit to rack it, but it's really good. But because I'm not used to it or haven't done it for a while, I'm just feeling it out. So a plate at a time. So up to 180 plus a chain. So I'm just using my small chains at the moment. I'm just using 8 kilo chains. So I've got 16 kilos of chain and 180 on the bar. So yeah, but all being well, things are moving nicely. I'll be able to work up to 300k or more. We'll see how it goes. Alright, so up to 300 kilos now, plus the chains. So what would that be? 316 kilos at lockout. So I haven't used knee wraps yet, so this is going to be my first set of knee wraps. So it's going quite well, to be honest with you. The 260 moved quite well. I felt pretty comfortable, as you can with 260 kilos on your back. But yeah, I'm going to give 300 a go, and then once I've done 300, I'll make my kind of assessment from there. I'm not quite sure how heavy I'll go. I might cut off at 300 and a bit, or I might go a little heavier. I'm going to see what it feels like with some knee wraps on, and if it doesn't feel too bad, I'll go up a bit in weight. If it feels all right, heavy enough, then I'll stick with the 300 and maybe do a couple of work sets. Now with the 300 kilos, I'm quite instinctive. So I mentioned if it feels decent and feels okay, then I'll probably only do 1 or 2 reps with it, because I don't want to expend my energy. Whereas if it feels like a good work weight, then I'll actually do more reps. Weird, I know. But again, it's just about understanding your body. When you're reaching those kind of maximal percentages, I know on a very good day I can hit 400 kilos, but that's like the best I've ever done. But I can squat in the mid 300s on a regular-ish basis. But to get to those kind of percentages, because that's like in my 90% range, if you expend too much energy, or I find myself, if I expend too much energy in the build-up, it just takes away from my actual work. So all I do at the moment is just let my body know that it's got a weight on its back and give my body the time to adjust to the new weight, but I don't actually expend any major energy doing it. So normally when I'm going up to something heavy, I'll do a few sets of 5, then I'll go down to kind of triples and doubles until I get to my work weight. Okay, so I just did 340 with 16 kilos of chains. So that's what, 356. And it felt okay. Lifting out of the mono lift really does help. The energy levels are much higher, just not having to worry about walking it in and out. So what I've decided to do now is I'm going to have a rematch. Now, those of you who saw my last heavy squat video will no doubt recall that I hit 340 plus the 20 kilo chains per side. So it's 380 in total with the chain weight. And I really struggled. It was a grinder. And part of that I'd attribute to the walkout, and I was a bit silly with the accommodating resistance. I didn't put a chain on until my very last set. Whereas this time round, I have included chains all the way through from my very first set, just so you get used to the stability of it. So I want a rematch. Last time I got a single with it and it was a real grind. So I just want to see what I can do today. Yeah. So these are my 20 kilo chains. Let's say they feel heavier. Yeah, they feel so heavy. Make sure my safety arms are up higher as well. That's that done. I won the rematch. Can still hear my breathing still up. Gosh. Yeah, so using the monolift and then doing it in a cage was a lot better, a lot easier. So last time I hit the 340 plus the 20 kilos per side of chain, so 380, and I got a really, really hard single. And here we are, I think it's about 9 or 10 days later since I last did that. I can't remember. And I've managed to get a triple with it. So I'm very, very pleased with that. I'm going to start using the monolift more often. And I was genuinely listening to you guys, because I know a lot of you are on here sort of basically saying, look after myself. I know, I apologise, the angles aren't as good, because the cage does manage to kind of block out a lot of this, but you know, you can still see, you can still get an idea of what I did. I've had to have a bit of a shift around in my gym, move lots of equipment so I can get the camera in place so you can kind of see it. Better than nothing, But yeah, that's it now. I'm not doing a Widowmaker set. My CNS, I can tell, is fried. So I won't really get much out of that. I'm literally gonna go and do a few calf raises. And that's probably pretty much it. I'm gonna go do 5 sets of 20 calf raises. And then that'll be it. Now remember, with my training, I have a heavy squat day, I have a bodybuilding day, and I have a kind of support day. Now this is obviously my heavy squats, but in my last workout, my workout's been a little bit mixed up recently, because I've actually been away on holiday recently. I've just came back a couple of days ago off holiday. I know I was still uploading videos, but those were videos I'd got sort of pre-recorded. So you may have seen the shoulder press video. That was my most recent workout that I recorded, and that I did that at the weekend. So I'm just kind of catching up now. So yeah, I can't complain at all. My last leg workout I did was a bodybuilding style workout, and that involved lots of sets of very high rep leg press, lots of sets of hamstring curls. I did the inner abductor, outer abductor, again, quite a few sets, quite a few reps, and assorted calves, seated calf raises. And that was the workout. But I mean, in terms of total sets, it's probably about 30, maybe more sets. Whereas this, as you can see, is very low volume. My heavy workouts are always very low volume. And I've said to you guys before, I don't know if you may be new to my channel or what have you, the idea of my heavy session isn't to build muscle. It is to do nothing but test where my strength is and demonstrate where my strength is. And I'm not doing it out of an ego point of view. I don't mean it like that. I'm far too old to have an ego anymore. But it keeps me honest and it keeps me on track as to where I am. So I have my heavy session, I have my bodybuilding session, and then I have my support session, which will be exercises that I find are pretty supportive for the squats. It might be like squat variations, front squats, safety bar squats. It can be weighted step ups, it can be hip thrusts, all sorts of things, but deficit deadlifts. But like I said, exercises that I find carry over quite nicely to the squats. Good mornings, that's another one. That's a really, really good carryover. Maybe some of the best carryover I find is actually good mornings. Now, in my last box squat session that I posted, I had one of you guys, I'm sorry, the name escapes me now, kind of questioning my technique on the box. And he'd been on Dave Tate's channel. Those of you who know Dave Tate, an elite, a former, like a retired former elite powerlifter. He's from the Westside Barbell. He was kind of schooled in Westside Barbell. He knows so much. What he doesn't know about powerlifting, you know, he's forgotten more than most people, including myself, will ever know. And he was saying that Dave Tate says you should just go straight up and down on a box, whereas I sit back and rock out of it. Now, I use the box. I use it. I don't use it to eliminate momentum as such. I use it to eliminate the kind of stretch reflex. Now, those of you who squat or you squat deep, you'll know that you get the stretch reflex out of the muscle. So you'll kind of go down and then you can kind of rebound out. It's like a spring and then spring and then. Now, what I do when I sit on the box is I'm trying to eliminate that stretch reflex. It works for me. I spent many years going straight up and down, and to be honest with you, I'm probably stronger going straight up and down than I am sitting back and rocking out of it. Now, when I rock out of it, I find it uses glutes a lot more, and it uses my kind of hams and glutes, hams, hips, a little bit of lower back, not too much, but a little bit of lower back. But I find it works better for me. I find even though I'm a little bit stronger, just going straight up and down. So the idea of going straight up and down, that eliminates momentum rather than eliminating the stretch reflex. It's hard to explain because you come to a dead stop, go. Now, I've also found when I go straight up and down, I find it takes a big impact on my lower back. It's very compressive. My box is very firm. It's made by Mirafit, really solid. I think it's rated to like 500 kilos or something. It's a really, really good box, but it's very, very solid. So there's a lot of compressive forces. So when you are going straight up and down, you have to think ultimately your vertebrae is taking a lot of that impact. And that's not a very nice feeling. Now, and I don't mean in a disrespectful way, but when you're using slightly lighter weights, if you're someone that does that with 140, 180 or something like that, you can probably get away with it. But when you're starting to do it with like bigger numbers, like 300 kilos and all that kind of stuff, it's a tremendous amount of force, blunt force that you are putting onto your spine. And I'm old. I'm old and my spine can't take that anymore. I've had so many back injuries over the years. Even though my back is strong, I've got a permanent bulging disc that I've managed to build up over many years of training. I was told probably about 15 years ago by my doctor that I'd have to have spinal fusion surgery. And I've said before, yeah, cheers doc, here I am 15 years later squatting almost 400 kilos. It wasn't very useful advice and I wasn't very happy. But times have changed and medical practice and the way people think now has moved forward a little bit. But I do live with a bulging disc. I have permanent sciatica. You'd never know it, but I have permanent sciatica because of where the disc is. Now, sometimes, a lot of the time, that sciatic pain is just a feeling. And, it's what I'd say a 2 out of 10. I'm aware of it and I get a bit of a tingle. But when that disc shifts around a little bit and presses the sciatic nerve, it gets to a point where I literally can't put my shoes on. I can barely put one foot in front of the other. Now, my way to rectify all of this over the years has been simply to train and what I call bulletproof myself. I do a lot of what I call anti-fragile training. I want my body as strong as possible in as many positions as possible. So I don't do it just for lower back. I do it for my hips. I do it for my elbows. You've seen me doing heavy behind the neck presses. I go into quite uncomfortable positions because I want to be strong in most positions. And I found, I keep on saying I'm an old man, but I'm 46. The older you get, the more I find that it is necessary to try and bulletproof yourself, to bulletproof your joints, to bulletproof your spine, just by making everything around it as strong as possible and as mobile as possible. So hopefully that'll clarify my technique. What I'd say to anyone who does do box squats, try both. They feel different. They feel different. They both feel very different. There's no one size fits all. There's no right way or wrong way. There's just different ways of doing things. Now, don't get me wrong, don't be an idiot and sort of bounce up and down and kill yourself. And don't sit back and kind of rock around and everything. But you'll see what I mean. Give both techniques a try, and cycle them in and out. You know, I'm a big proponent of cycling and like rotating exercises. So I will squat, but sometimes it'll be a box squat, sometimes it'll be a straight, standard squat. Other times it'll be a safety bar. They're all squats, and they're all going to hit your glutes, your hams, your quads, your lower back. But just changing the bar, changing the angle, changing the speed helps to, I won't say prevent, but it can, yeah, I suppose it is prevent. It does help to prevent those kind of niggly injuries, particularly those like overuse injuries. Because if you keep on doing the same thing day in, day out, week in, week out, eventually the body's going to wear out, the joints are going to wear out. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to, be the be all and end all or cure, but it's kept, I've done this for quite a long time, rotated my exercises quite a long time. And I'm still reasonably strong and still reasonably fit, and reasonably mobile, as someone that's closer to 50 than 40. Because you will find, and I know there's a few of you on my channel who comment regularly, if you've been doing this a while, particularly as soon as you hit your kind of later 30s, 40s, all those aches and pains come. And we all know someone that was able to, bench decent weights once upon a time, but then their shoulders have gone, or their elbows have gone, or whatever, they're in so much pain that they're not able to do what they used to do. We know guys who squat, but their knees are shot. So I do this as a way of staving off Father Time a little bit. Father Time will always win. Father Time is undefeated. But at the moment, I'm doing my best to keep him at bay, is the best way I can describe it. Anyway, if you're new to the page, thank you for taking the time to have a look at this channel. I would really appreciate it if you kind of liked what you saw. If you could hit that subscribe button, because I'm in the high 800s at the moment. My big goal in the long run is, hopefully maybe by the end of the year or whatever, to try and get 1,000 subs. It was fast, then it was slow, then it was fast, and now it's gone a bit slow again. So, I keep on banging my head against the door, and I keep on uploading, and hopefully something will stick one day. But, this page is just a very simple page. I lift weights and I have a chat. It's drama-free. I'm not into nonsense. I'm far too old for that, and I haven't got the time or inclination for it. It's about positivity. It's about us lot coming on here, sharing ideas, having a chat, and just enjoying training and the beauty of training. It's not about ego. It's not about who's stronger than who or anything like that. That's just not my style. I don't care. As long as we're all training hard, it doesn't matter. If your numbers are bigger than mine, awesome. If my numbers are bigger than yours, awesome. But we can all learn from each other, and we can just enjoy training. Training is absolutely awesome. And it has kept me on the straight and narrow, and it's kept me sane for so many years I couldn't even begin to tell you. But still, there I go off on a tangent again. Okay, so do not forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit notifications, and all that good stuff. You guys take care, and I will speak to you soon. The difficulty with putting all those plates on is I've then got to take all of those plates off and tidy up the mess in my gym. Look at that. All the stuff I'd got in my power rack. Oh well, I'll see you in about half hour time.